Are you looking for the best gaming TVs? In this video we will look at some of the 5 best TVs on the market. Before we get started with our video, we have included links in the description. So make sure you check those out to see which one is in your budget range. Starting at number 1. Samsung S90C OLED. The best TV for gaming we've tested is the Samsung S90C OLED. It's a feature-packed TV that delivers an incredible gaming experience. Its low input lag and nearly instantaneous response time result in crystal clear, fluid motion with no distracting blur or ghosting behind fast-moving objects. The TV delivers impressive picture quality thanks to its unique QD OLED panel. It delivers incredibly deep blacks, making this an impressive TV for gaming in a dark room. HDR gaming on the Samsung is amazing, but it doesn't support Dolby Vision, although relatively few games support it anyway. It also looks great in bright rooms, with high peak brightness allowing it to easily overcome glare. Its viewing angle is incredibly wide, so it's a great choice for playing couch co-op or party games with friends sitting around the TV. All 4 HDMI inputs support 4K at 144 Hz, so you can take full advantage of a PS5, Xbox Series X, and a recent PC GPU without compromising motion performance or input lag. If you have deep pockets and are looking for the best, no matter the cost, consider the higher-tier Samsung S95C OLED, which is even brighter. However, considering how bright and colorful the S90C already is, the S95C is not worth the significant price hike for most people. The Samsung S90D/S90DD OLED is now available. It has minor upgrades like better HDR brightness and less banding in colors. It also does a better job of smoothing out low-quality content. It's currently a lot more expensive, so unless you really want the small upgrades it offers, you're better off buying the cheaper S90C while it's still available. It's worth mentioning that Samsung's 2024 OLED lineup is confusing, as they're releasing. At number 2. Sony Bravia 9 QLED. If you regularly game in a bright room or want a TV that will impress your friends during a well-lit party, the best 4K TV for gaming in a bright room that we've tested is the Sony Bravia 9 QLED. It's also the best LED TV we've ever tested. It's incredibly bright, so this TV easily overcomes glare in the brightest rooms, and it can display exceptionally bright highlights in HDR games. Speaking of HDR, the TV supports Dolby Vision gaming at up to 120 Hz, which is great for those with an Xbox. Colors are also very vibrant and lifelike due to the TV's wide color gamut and outstanding color volume. One of its main advantages over other LED TVs is its contrast. With local dimming enabled, the TV delivers incredibly deep blacks in a dark room that are approaching the deepness you get from OLED TVs like the Samsung S90C OLED. The local dimming control on the TV is very impressive, so there's barely any noticeable blooming around bright highlights when they're against a dark background. Not only does the TV offer exceptional picture quality, but it's also loaded with modern gaming features. It has HDMI 2.1 bandwidth on 2 of its ports, but one of those ports is also the eARC port, so you're limited if you have both next-gen consoles and a soundbar. The TV supports up to 4K at 120 Hz and VRR for a nearly tear-free gaming experience, meaning it's fully compatible with modern consoles. Fast motion in games has minimal blur behind it due to the TV's excellent response time. You also get a responsive gaming experience due to its very low input lag, but it is a bit higher than competing models from other brands. If you're mostly a competitive gamer playing PvP matches online, you might want to look elsewhere. Unfortunately, the TV has a mediocre viewing angle, so the image degrades when viewed from the sides of the screen. It's not as bad as a lot of other TVs that use a VA panel, but it's still not the best choice if you like to play couch co-op games with a large group of friends. If the Bravia 9 is too expensive but you still want a Sony TV for use in a bright room, you could opt for last year's Sony X93L/X93CL. Its contrast isn't nearly as good as the Bravia 9's, but it's still good enough for deep blacks in a dark room. It's not as bright either, but it's still a very bright TV that overcomes glare in well-lit rooms. At number 3. LG C3 OLED. If you want an OLED that is not only great at gaming but can also be an excellent home theater TV, consider the upper mid-range LG C3 OLED. The main difference between this TV and the Samsung S90C OLED, minus its 83-inch model, is the specific type of OLED panel used. Both TVs deliver an incredible dark room experience, with no distracting blooming or haloing around bright areas of the screen. But the QD-OLED panel on the Samsung allows for brighter, vibrant, and lifelike colors, resulting in much better color volume overall. The LG partly makes up for it by being more versatile, as it has better image processing, has Dolby Vision gaming at 120 Hz, and can pass through advanced DTS audio formats. As with all OLEDs, it's a sight to behold in a darkroom, with bright highlights next to the TV's perfect, inky blacks. It's also bright enough for a pleasant gaming experience in a moderately lit room. It delivers incredible gaming performance with a nearly instantaneous response time, resulting in crystal clear motion with no distracting blur behind fast-moving objects. It's also packed with gaming features, including full HDMI 2.1 bandwidth support on all 4 inputs, which means you can simultaneously take full advantage of the Xbox Series X, PS5, or a recent PC GPU. If you love this TV but wish it were more vibrant, consider the more expensive LG G3 OLED. The G3 is one of the brightest OLEDs on the market and is certainly brighter than the C3, but it's not worth the price difference for most people. 2024's LG C4 OLED is also now available. It has minor upgrades like better HDR brightness and accuracy. It also supports up to 4K at 144 Hz for PC gamers with high-end rigs. It's quite expensive at launch, so unless you're a gamer with a powerful PC, your money is better spent on the cheaper C3 OLED while it's still available and on sale. At number 4. LG B3 OLED. If you're looking for a gaming TV in the mid-range price category, consider the LG B3 OLED. It's a truly splendid TV, with only a few drawbacks compared to the more expensive models. The TV has all the features of the more expensive LG C3 OLED, although the B3 is certainly dimmer. It still delivers outstanding picture quality, especially in a dark room, with its near-infinite contrast ratio delivering deep, inky blacks with no distracting blooming. Just make sure to dim the lights when gaming on this TV, as it's not bright enough in HDR to offer a truly immersive gaming experience in bright rooms. This TV is available in a more narrow range of sizes compared to the more expensive LG, 55, 65, and 77 inches. It's still great for gaming, with its 2 HDMI 2.1 ports offering up to 4K at 120 Hz support, including Dolby Vision gaming at 120 Hz. If you have multiple HDMI 2.1 devices, you'll have to navigate around having only 2 HDMI 2.1 ports, but thankfully, HDMI 2.1 switches are now pretty cheap. It is compatible with every VRR technology, has a fantastic response time, and has an extremely low input lag in game mode. Like other OLEDs, its viewing angle is truly fantastic, making it a great TV for large gaming parties. Overall, this TV is a great entry point into the OLED market. The LG B4 OLED is also now available, and it brings some improvements. It gets noticeably brighter overall and has better HDR gradient handling, and LG has upped the number of HDMI 2.1 bandwidth ports to 4 to make it more versatile. The B4 is also available in a new 48-inch model, which is great if you need a smaller TV to game in a small room. Unfortunately, the TV is currently very expensive, so unless you want those upgrades, you're better off getting the B3 while it's on sale. If you do need those things, you can currently get the LG C3 OLED for less than the cost of a B4. At number 5. HighSense U7N. If you'd like the Sony Bravia 9 QLED or LG B3 OLED but are tight on money, you can step down to the best lower mid-range gaming TV we've tested, the HighSense U7N. Despite its price, the TV is packed with gaming features. It has HDMI 2.1 bandwidth on 2 of its ports, both capable of up to 4K at 144 Hz. It also has VRR support and auto low latency mode, ALLM, so you're fully covered if you own either an Xbox Series X or a PS5. Motion in fast-paced games has minimal blur behind it thanks to the TV's excellent response time, and its incredibly low input lag means there's no noticeable delay between the inputs on your controller and the action on screen. The TV isn't as bright as the Sony Bravia 9 QLED, but it's still very bright, and it has amazing reflection handling, so it overcomes glare when gaming in a bright room. If you also game in a dark room, the TV's excellent contrast delivers deep blacks, although there's noticeable blooming around bright highlights when they're against a dark background. Highlights in HDR games really stand out, and colors are vibrant due to the TV's excellent HDR brightness and wide color gamut, delivering an impactful HDR experience. It also supports Dolby Vision gaming for those with an Xbox. Unfortunately, its viewing angle is very narrow, so it's not the best choice to play party games with a big group of friends or family. The HighSense U7K is still available at some retailers, and you can currently get it for cheaper than the U7N. It's not as bright as the U7N, but it's still bright enough for use in most well-lit rooms, so it's a great option if you're looking to save some money.